Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are, all of you wonderful people, and once again, hold on, I've got my voice coming into my head here from something. Twitch, darn you Twitch.
It's Professor Xavier.
Always Twitch. Anyway, welcome once again to Nerd Week Live, our weekly nerd news show where we talk about all sorts of fun things that have happened in nerddom over the course of the past week. And we got a really loaded roster of topics here tonight, so we're going to jump into it pretty quickly after we do our introductions. I'm Rodney Brown. I'm the editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber. I'm first-person shooter on Facebook as a cosplay photographer. Burley_adopter on the Twitters as, well, I was going to say as a tech journalist, but lately as somebody who's basically just been, sending hate to the Trump administration. Like most of us have. And joining us, let's see, this time we're going to go around counterclockwise. So Gogo, if you would, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Gogo Incognito, a longtime contributor to Nerd Caliber. Always happy to be here. Wait, I hear TARDIS noises? I just heard TARDIS noises.
All right.
Okay, that's weird. I hope that wasn't. Oh God, that's me.
All right, so we'll wait for you to take care of that.
I'm so embarrassed.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm sorry.
Happens to me almost every week, obviously, as you just heard. So
anyway, I love Doctor Who, and I'm just gonna have to tell the doctor I'll see you later. I'm sorry, I can't come right now. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about the topics tonight, and you can catch me on Instagram at @gogo_incognito. I'll be putting a lot of stuff up for the holidays, so it'll be fun and new.
Awesome. Mr. Byron.
Hello, Z. Hello, guys. Byron McNeil, a.k.a. Byron D0. Not as long time a contributor, but I've been here a while. I do game reviews. I do movie reviews. I do video content. I'm hoping to get into photography when cons become a thing again. And my webcomic, Codename Blackbird, just released a new chapter this week after like a month and a half long hiatus because of life 2020. If you want to check that out, you can go to www.codenameblackbird.thecomicseries.com.
Awesome. And Ashley.
All right, hi. So someone named the Doctor is here and telling me to tell Gogo that you need to go with her. Well, I don't understand, but she said you'd know. Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley Lauren Rogers. I'm a playwright based out of Brooklyn, New York. And right now I'm a podcaster with the Is It Transphobic podcast. And finally, I do a show called Scowl. We have a new episode that's going to premiere on Twitch, twitch.tv/scowlfight on the 30th. So we're going to be live streaming that on the 30th, and it'll be available on YouTube the day after.
Awesome. Very cool. Still going to check that out so I can see how you actually fight when nobody's in the same room or probably same state.
We are premiering a mime fight.
Oh,
Prime time.
Does that mean we get to see you beat on a mime? Because I'm there for that.
Yes, actually, right. Yes.
Awesome. Very cool. And of course, no insults to mimes out there, please. No emails. Welcome to the show, Dallas Smith. Welcome back to the show, Luminous. How you doing? Hope you're staying safe. And I think that's all we've got in the chat so far. So we'll jump right into it with, as we often do when this happens, we start the show with In Remembrance. And this is Kirby Morrow, an actor who you've probably heard, might have seen. And since you've probably heard, you probably don't really know who this person is. Kirby Morrow died at the age of 47. This past week, his family announced. As a physical actor, was in Stargate Atlantis, had recurring roles in Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl, different characters. But it's the voice work that you pretty well would know him for. Byron, hit us with Kirby's, which I think has to be Kirby's most famous voice work.
Well, he has a couple of really iconic ones. First one being Troa Barton from Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, which I think to a lot of people in my age group, that was our introduction to his vocal talent. His other equally iconic role would be Von Fennell from Vision of Escaflowne. Don't watch the movie; it's trash.
So I was gonna assume you were gonna go with Goku in Dragon Ball Z.
I was gonna bring Goku up, but
Okay.
he was Goku in the Ocean dub, not the one that we have here in the States. More like everywhere else in the world.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. So in that case, you may not have heard him. He was also Cyclops in X-Men Evolution. He was Michelangelo in Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation. Now here's Miroku in Inuyasha. Was that also not the U.S. dub, or?
Oh no, no, he was in the U.S. dub for that, and actually he reprised the role for the first couple of dubbed episodes of Yashahime.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that is definitely a bummer. I'm not sure if the character continues through, because I only watched, I think, the first 5 episodes of Yashahime. So I don't know if the character is going to continue through, and if so, what's going to happen to that, English voice actor. So this is very sad. And apparently this is one of the things that a lot of people know him for, the Lego Ninjago TV series.
Oh, right, heard.
He played Cole and many characters, from what I understand. So very sad news. It's probably going to be a big hit to the voice acting community.
I've seen a lot of tributes on Twitter.
Yeah, you go look up this Kirby's IMDb profile, and man, there's a lot of stuff. So very sad to hear that happen. Canadian, born in Alberta in 1973. Wow. So condolences to his family and to all of his fans out there. And very sorry to hear that. Another piece of news that I'm kind of sorry to hear myself, although there's good news here as well. Amazon approved a 6th season of The Expanse, even before the 5th season premieres, which is in mid-December. And it's going to be the last season. Final season of the show. One very interesting piece of news is that the actor Cass Anvar, who plays Alex, who is not in this image, and that's why I chose this image, will not be in the 6th season. He was accused by multiple people of sexual harassment and sexual assault a couple of years ago, and I haven't heard where the outside investigative team for the production company, Alcor, came down on this, but he ain't in the next season. So I guess that kind of tells us where they came down on it. I can't, good riddance to him. I love the character. Got skeeved out by the actor the one time I interviewed him at New York Comic Con, and that was, I wasn't surprised when I saw that news.
Some people just get that vibe.
Yeah. And I got to say, we're going to have had 3 years of gift seasons, because it was canceled on Sci-Fi after the 3rd season, and then Amazon picked it up, and season 4 was awesome. Season 5 looks to be awesome, and I'm looking forward to season 6 when that happens too.
Yeah, and 6 seasons is a very that's a lot of material. That's awesome that they were able to last 6 seasons, and the fact that it's okay, we're going to release this season and the next season is going to be the last one, means that they are definitely going to be able to plan for an ending.
Yep.
Which is a thing that a lot of series don't get.
Yep.
Indeed.
And what was that thing in Community?
Badlands.
6 seasons in a movie? You might get that.
Community, yeah. If they can get a movie, there'll be one better than Community.
Exactly.
Yeah, we never got our Community movie. I'm still waiting.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
I don't know. Everybody's off to other stuff right now. Mr. Krakowian, welcome back to the show. Mr. Krakowian says we have cool green screens. Thank you.
I have curtains. It's not really exciting.
So 2 of us have
mine looks like a real New York bedroom.
It looks an awful lot like your place in New York. Wow, that's really amazing. That's very cool. So yeah, Expanse, I'm looking forward to it. I always have. I'll not gush like I usually do, because we got to move through stuff. So our next topic is, you've all seen this news. I'm sure everybody's seen it. Wonder Woman 1984 it was announced that in addition to it premiering in theaters on December 25th, it will hit HBO Max as well. Yeah, although this is very difficult for the people who, since we're on a picture of Gal Gadot right now, for people to see you do golf claps, Ashley. Ashley so
I guess
color
that makes sense.
commentary, Ashley was doing golf claps because. So the news also includes the fact that it will only be on there for current subscribers. So I gather what that's trying to tell us is that you can't sign up for like one of the free subscriptions the week before and then cancel it. You have to be a paid monthly subscriber.
Trixie Hobbitses.
Trixie Hobbitses. And it's only going to be up there for a month.
Oh.
Yep. So after 1 month, so end of January, it goes into theaters only, assuming it's still in theaters, because it probably will be, because nothing else will be playing.
So if you get your free month, that's how they're doing it. Okay.
Yep.
As much as I'm not a fan of this idea of, for lack of a better term, like for long-term potential of killing real-world cinemas, at the same time right now where we're all at, where we should be self-isolating, yeah, I'm here for it right now.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm very glad that they're doing this because that means I get to see it. I get to see it in a timely fashion so that we can have a review. Whoever's going to be the reviewer, we can, it's so difficult to get that to happen right now. We've hardly had a movie review up in a year. So
it's also great because it's not like the Mulan situation where you have to pay an extra $30 in addition to the et cetera, like your plan for Disney. So this way, if you're already paying for HBO Max, you got it.
Yeah, I think it's great. Husband and I were talking about how we have this yearly tradition of, at Thanksgiving, we always go out and see whatever blockbuster movie's out. Either Christmas Day or the day after, we go out and see the blockbuster movie. Usually, something nerdy, whatever. I still remember seeing Into the Spider-Verse on, Christmas late and like coming home and like crying my eyes out because it was just so beautiful and amazing. And my mom was like, "That good, huh, kid? It was that good?"
Yeah.
And, it's like, okay, well, at least we still get, I don't know if it's going to be a blockbuster, but we're going to get a big movie. We don't get that theater experience, but at least they're giving us something, So I'm excited about that. I'm sure I'm not the only one.
I'm pretty excited for it. A lot of work went into it,
Yep.
and they have the same productive team, so I'm not worried about the quality of it. And I share a lot of the sentiments here, like Ashley saying that I hope that in the long run this doesn't do more harm than good to whatever theater companies are left out there.
So that's again a topic for another discussion, I think, but it's done. Disney announced when they announced back in September that they were creating a distribution of entertainment division that will have as big a role in deciding the future of any intellectual property they make right from the get-go. It will be in there on the very beginning of the decision process of how and what happens to a movie series, whatever they're making, where it lands, Disney Plus, movies, whatever. That was the writing on the wall. Disney realized that has to be part of the decision because however things come back, movie houses and the way we think of them, it's not going to be the same. And to that point, Luminous asks or says, I read HBO Max does not offer 4K. I don't know that. I don't have a 4K device, so I never even bothered looking to see whether it's offered.
It's also not available on every device.
Yeah.
True, although HBO Max did just sign a deal to get on Amazon Fire devices. That was cool. just last week, I think. And Byron, just I don't know if you want to, but can you take your cap off? The bill is completely blocking light from your face, and now we're getting a little bit of light coming down because the light is so far behind you.
Yeah, we're seeing your background much more than we're seeing you.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. I know
there
it's
he
horrible
is.
to put that thing directly on your face, but it's
there's our handsome fella.
There we go. Mr. Krakowian, I think Tan Mom should play Wonder Woman next. Do we know who somebody named?
Yeah, I know who Tan Mom is.
Okay.
I mean, in a spoof, for reals, no. But
Okay.
I like your thinking. I think that's hilarious. Make sure she's wearing a lot of terry cloth instead of like actual armor. Am I right?
All right.
I've
On
definitely
that note,
interacted with Tan Mom at a drunk brunch.
moving on to our next topic, we are so this news dropped this last weekend, and I kind of feel all kinds of ways about it. They announced that Black Panther 2 will start shooting in the summer of this coming year. That an actor who is best known for Narcos Mexico, Tena Huerta, is going to be a villain, an unnamed villain, in the upcoming movie. They have not announced at all how they're going to handle Chadwick Boseman's death, and therefore what's going to happen to Black Panther. We've speculated on this endlessly. There is canon comic possibility that Shuri becomes Black Panther. It's in the
Please.
please,
Yes, please.
as opposed to recasting. But they could also recast. That's certainly something that's been done in situations like this. So, but I'm kind of wondering who Tena Huerta is going to play.
Yeah, I think we discussed this in the chat, suggesting the Submariner.
So I like an idiot, I didn't bring up a photo of this guy, but he's got the eyebrows. I mean, they're there. And if they want to do a sort of Latinx-looking Submariner, there's no reason not to. He's an Atlantean. Who knows what they look like? You know, well, he's a mutant. It's
Yeah.
they've screwed
Now,
around
I know
with this
that-
guy.
Complicated.
Yeah,
It's complicated.
Now I know that Namor's in that sweet spot of licensing between Marvel and Universal, right?
No, he's back. He's done.
Okay.
All the Universal properties are back in Marvel's hands completely.
Excellent.
You know, even the Hulk. They could make a Hulk movie tomorrow if they wanted.
That's why they're going forward with the She-Hulk series then.
Yeah, probably. Now that I think about it, good point. There's been speculation he might be White Tiger, a wonderful Latin kind of I think second tier, but then again, there's a lot of second tier characters in the MCU. But a really good character, a really interesting, or the original one, his sister, I think, took over as White Tiger. So the current White Tiger is female, but they are both Latin. But yeah, we don't know exactly when in summer it's going to start filming, but it will be summer. And again, we're still looking forward to the news of what they're going to do, what the decision is going to be about Boseman.
They're going to do whatever they're going to do, but at the same time, I feel like it would be, in my opinion, it would be a bad idea to recast T'Challa.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think they honestly the nation felt very strongly about Chadwick Boseman's death, and so I feel very much like it would be calculation to recast T'Challa.
Yep.
Be rude. Be rude.
Yeah, poor taste, rude, all of that. Yep, 100%. Moby Boy, welcome to the show, and unnamed. Yes, we don't know who Tena Huerta is going to play. Lots of speculation out there. If it is somebody like Namor, you guarantee they're not going to reveal that for a while.
Yeah. I have no comment until we know more.
There you go. So moving on, more comic book related entertainment news. That is the first look at the new actual fighting superhero-esque costume for Starfire in the series Titans. This was dropped just this past week. It includes the information that was put out there. It includes the original concept art, various stages actually of the concept art before they got to this final look of the character. And I like it. I don't know if our team has the information up here, but I'm going to fade over to, that's for the folks out there, that's the full body, the whole costume, the whole thing.
Right. I saw it today.
And I like it. I think it looks enough like the original Starfire costume without having to deal with the any of the various versions of completely inappropriate over sexualization, and it also has a little bit of sort of Wonder Woman-esque, a little bit of Amazon-like feel to it too, which I think is really cool. Not necessarily comic appropriate, but I think is cool.
It gives it feels more like royal garb than some of her other outfits because, like, again, she is of royal Tamaranian blood. So,
Yep. Yeah, I can buy that.
I was
Uh,
gonna say, like, depending on who's drawing her in the comics, she has like either she has like a really interesting costume or she has like a band-aid.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of nice to see like a really interesting, intricate, like full body armor like that. I like this. I like this look on Starfire.
Yep.
I like it a lot. You know, in costume and cosplay groups that I've been in that I saw today, like it's been a lot. It's been a big topic of discussion. And, you know, a lot of people are saying they like it because, you know, once they get the pattern printed, you know, it'll be easy to do. And a lot of people are just saying, yay, this is actually suitable for all ages. You know, if a little one wants to
Yep.
be Starfire, and you know, it just looks badass. So I'm all for it. You know, I like her in the skimpies and I like her in the full. You know, all I have to say is just keep her red hair, whatever happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that idea. All ages. I took photos at the last con I went to, PAX East.
I know.
Of these two adorable girls that were there with their parents, and one of them was in the Teen Titans Go, the skirt version, and that is pretty appropriate for a kid, you know, depending on how much midriff you want to bear. They were both adorable. The other one was Raven, and that was pretty much just a straight up Raven. So, you know, and that's also, you know, particularly with the white tights underneath the suit, that's pretty normal, pretty kid appropriate. So it will be nice to see younger girls able to wear something like this instead of kind of their only option being the skirt version from Go. So yeah, good point. I like that. All right, moving on, we have. So that is an image from the Cartoon Network series Thundercats Roar. And the news is that apparently it's been kind of abruptly canceled. And when Byron was one that posted this into our group, I kind of went, oh, yeah, we did a thing about how this was going to happen like a year and a half ago. And I completely never even knew that it actually became a thing. But apparently it did. You know, Byron, is there, you know.
Yeah, I guess I got a few thoughts on it. Just you know, at the very beginning of this whole idea, I was definitely one of the more vocal members of the hate club. But then I'm just like, whatever. I'm not gonna watch it. It's not for me. But like looking back now and on the fact it's canceled, I have a sneaking suspicion that it is what I like to call the Borat Bruno paradox, where it's just like if you try to replicate the same concept in a different show and don't take and you try to do it nearly verbatim, you're setting yourself up for failure. And that's basically what it was. It's like, yes, Teen Titans Go worked because it's the first of its kind. You can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again. What? It's like, did you see any of the boy bands from the 90s still around?
Well, reunion tours, but you know.
Yeah.
but yeah.
And guest appearances in comedy movies.
Yep.
Because I remember when this was announced, and I remember the absolute like anger and vitriol that it got just because it's like, oh, it's gonna be like Teen Titans Go and everything's gonna be bad. And I love my Thundercats, but at the same time, it was just like, okay, like I hear that there was a really good adaptation of Thundercats that they did a little bit a couple of years ago, in 2011. That I was sad that they canceled, but at the same time, it's just like, all right, you know, this isn't for me. This isn't for not even necessarily this isn't for my age group. It's just like, all right, the show isn't going to be for me, and that's totally fine. I did not watch it. I do not know if it ended up being any good or not, but at the same time, it's sounding like a lot of people didn't either. So.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was like Rodney. Like, you know, I didn't even know it was a thing until I saw our topic list. Was like, well, that happened. So, as someone who absolutely loved the Thundercats and like just like Storm and Wonder Woman, Cheetara was this like aspiration. She was someone I completely looked up to. So my childhood was not ruined, and it never would be, you know. But I don't have any fuss. I don't have anything to say except, you know what? If you want your Thundercat fixed, go find the old ones.
Or watch the 2011 series. It's on Hulu.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was there either, so that gives me something new.
It's pretty good. It's
Badass,
actually, I think it's really good. It only like this. It only lasted one season though. You know, it didn't make it very far either.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not one of those people that hates new things when you're reimagining a TV show, because like I know a lot of people when they first saw it, they're like, oh, they're turning it anime, and I'm just like, give it a chance.
No, that ain't anime.
Yeah.
That's that's
like,
Steven Universe is what that is.
Don't insult Steven Universe.
I'm sorry, the animation style is clearly inspired by Steven Universe.
Fair.
You know, and I don't know. I got thinking about this, about comparisons to other things, and I think the problem isn't that it's a reimagining, because it kind of isn't. It's the same characters. They're changing the nature of the way the characters are. It's the same sort of backstory. They're just doing it in theory with humor. And apparently they failed because it's got like 2.1 out of 5 stars on IMDb. But I was trying to think of something that I could compare it to, and the only thing I could come up with is like the Nendroid funny anime shows that take serious dramatic anime and make comedies out of them, like Isekai Quartet and things like that. And I think the reason those work is, one, they don't change the characters. They change the setting to put these dramatic characters into a funny situation. And that clearly, again, if you look at the look of the characters here, that isn't what they did with this. They changed the characters. They're goofballs in, you know, the traditional setting and trying to get humor out of that, and I don't think that works.
I'm just going to say one of the most controversial things I think I've ever said on a Nerd Caliber stream. The original Thundercats is garbage. It was fun. I love it. I loved it. I grew up with it. Oh boy! But you try and rewatch that. You try and rewatch that and tell me that episode where all the Thundercats pretend like they're not home, so that the villains come in to try and capture Snarf, and say that is good. I
hate Snarf. I hate him.
I hated Snarf too. I hated Snarf too.
The fact that he didn't talk in the 2011 series was the cherry on the sundae for me with that show.
I have always had an issue with the like goofy, dumb sidekick, whether it was like Khan in Bleach or like whatever the like dumb animal has to be. Supposed to give us comic relief. Like, now the show's stronger without it. Like, who does that appeal to? Is there an audience that appeals to?
It's for mascot sales.
Really thought, particularly for this period, they really the studio felt like it needed that comic relief to be over the top, hit you over the head. Exactly. Like Byron, you were bringing up Orko, exactly like Orko and whatever the name of the cat is from He-Man. Like, we're talking He-Man right now, but like,
Wait, I blocked that out. I just remember Battle Cat, the scary cat.
Again, I bring Chopper.
I have to be the comedy. Ooh,
I bring Chopper up for the same reason. Like, he is the Mickey Mouse of One Piece. He's like what draws the little kids in. He's what draws some of the multifamily people in, because he's so cute, he's so adorable, and he's so marketable. That's why they keep making those annoying characters.
Yeah, no, it's the marketing. 100% it's the marketing.
But Chopper, don't ever talk to me, my son, again.
Yeah, there is, I'm sure, a graduate level theses out there on tracing Shakespearean characters like Falstaff all the way to Cringer.
Challenge accepted, but continue.
Good. Let's write that up. I guarantee. Go to Google. Somebody's written that already. But yeah, it's So it's done. Thundercats Roar is done. The Thanksgiving special, I think, aired on the 20th, and there will be a Christmas special that will air, and then that's it. It's done. So if you were a fan, sorry. If you're like us and kind of went, wahoo.
You're not missing anything.
Exactly. Now, talking about missing, it's announced that the next season of Black Lightning is going to be its last, the 4th season. This comes 1 week after they announced, and we talked about this last week, a spin-off series from Black Lightning, Painkiller, which looks at a character that was introduced earlier that is a sort of reformed bad guy. And that makes me wonder why this series, which was pretty popular, and popular enough to create a spin-off, is not going to make it past season 4. Is it because the star is looking to move on? Nobody's saying anything. All of the statements that are being put out are just, glad-handing platitudes about it was great working with everybody, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know why this is being canceled, when you've got ensemble shows that are clearly, I would assume, paying way more, like Legends of Tomorrow. Legions of Tomorrow. Interesting series. That are still going, as weird and completely bizarre as they are. So
maybe we'll find out once it's all done and the contracts are ended, like we have with so many others, where they're like, all right, we're done. Now let me tell you a thing. So
Yeah, and there's also a chance that 4 seasons was just as much of the story that they wanted to tell. Like, it could be very much like anything from a business standpoint, like, business-wise, it's not pulling in the numbers. It could be business-wise, the actor and the creative team just wanted to work on other projects. But really, like, 4 seasons is a lot of seasons. Like, that really, a lot of shows don't even get through, aren't even able to get through one
if they're lucky.
Yeah. So this is still like a huge thing, and 4 seasons is quite a bit. So it's awesome. It's just, it is fascinating. And I think that it's kind of cool that it is leaving on a positive note. Because like you say, like, it's very well received. It's very well loved. So maybe leaving on the positive note is literally the, like, we don't want to drag this out. Let's do 4 really good seasons and then just call it quits.
Sorry, I was just chuckling at Waifu Pennywise. Welcome to the show. And your question also, what's with the topic with the Deadpool ass? We'll get to that at the end if you're going to be here. But it is, in fact, an appropriate photo to represent what the final topic is about.
You'll see.
And jumping back a couple, Luminous, I forgot to this, about Starfire's costume. The costume looks superb. I hope the writing is good.
I wouldn't get my hopes up.
Yeah, 2 seasons so far. It has highlights, and there are some absolutely wonderful highlights, but most of it's iffy.
So do anime characters.
Yeah.
So do bad anime characters, but that doesn't mean I still have to like them.
Exactly. Yeah, so Black Lightning fans, sorry about that. Maybe some of the side characters, like his daughters, might appear as, ongoing guest appearances in Painkiller. I think that would be awesome. But who knows? Or it could be, once again, it's just, it's just that Berlanti has way too much stuff on his plate.
Oh yeah, we went over that last week. I'm sorry. I think I just talked over someone.
Well, you did. I just wanted to correct myself in that Painkiller is not being done by Berlanti. Remember, that was one of the things we talked about.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So that can't be the reason. Now, let's talk about some pretty cool news. Cowboy Bebop just announced that one of the characters, an important, if not a main character, is going to be canonically non-binary,
Yes.
And which is great because the character in the anime is pretty as close to non-binary representation as you probably would have gotten back then.
Yes.
And the image that popped up there, the character is Gren. And I actually didn't remember the full name. Grencia Maras Elijah Guo Ekinar. A
Good
saxophonist at the Rooster House, a jazz club that's featured a bunch of times. And the actor is going to be Mason Alexander Park. They come from, was it the stage version of Hedwig, or was it the movie version?
Yeah, so they were, I believe it was like they, because I looked a little bit into them. I'm not super familiar with them at the moment, but they were a part of I think it was like the backup touring stage. Like it was part of like touring as well as like being a and now of course, even though I'm a theater person, I can't think of the word for like a backup when there's someone who's
Understudy.
Understudy. Yeah.
Like yeah, so they have performed as Hedwig, and I am still not super familiar with them as an actor, but I think that like I'm really interested in seeing where the live action Netflix series goes with this, particularly because, and it's been a while since I've thought about Cowboy Bebop, but this whole plot line, there's an entire planet where it's only men on the planet, and so there's a lot of other what I will say, especially being someone who really wants to do this for my podcast, is it transphobic.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questionable medical things that they do on this planet, and as a result, this character is what I will say is a person who is, how can I put this nicely? This person is sort of forced to undergo a lot of things.
Yes.
Right.
As a result, there's a lot of questions as to how we as media consumers kind of understand this person's gender. And this is why I'm sort of curious as to how they are going to handle this, because even though trans folk have existed for a very long time, and even though trans folk have been very vocal for a very long time, it doesn't necessarily mean that media creators have painted us in the best light. And even in the Cowboy Bebop one,
Or Japan in general.
Yeah, but and Gren is very sympathetic and an audience favorite. Like absolutely, people remember this story and remember these episodes and are touched by them. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not transphobic. So I'm curious, and I'm excited as someone who consumes this type of media a lot. I'm very excited.
Now, that's a good question. They don't get into the article here how Gren came to either achieve a non-binary status or realize a non-binary status. In the anime, achieve, I think, is the word that would be used. This isn't something that Gren particularly wanted to, although is pretty comfortable with it, once it's finally done and happened. And I think that's a big reason why the character did become such a huge or so very popular, particularly within the LGBTQ plus community.
And I think the fact that Mason has experience playing Hedwig, because it's a very, like, it's not the same story by any means, but it's a very similar, like, journey of trying to accept yourself after making changes that you wouldn't necessarily have made for yourself, but were made for you, about your gender and about your body and about who you are. And so as a result, it actually makes perfect sense that they got someone who is a former Hedwig to play this character. So I'm very curious and I'm excited. Honestly, I really am. I'm very excited to see what they do. Don't fuck it up, Netflix. Pardon my language. I don't know if I can swear. I realize
you can. We're allowed a few. I believe that's the YouTube rules. Waifu Pennywise says exactly the same thing. I hope it's not terrible.
I think that's the general sentiment, because fool me once, Netflix.
Right.
2 times,
Oh my gosh.
3 times.
My thought is, can it get worse? Yes, it can. So
always. Yes.
Fingers crossed this isn't Death Note.
As long as it's not as bad as Fist of the North Star from the 90s.
Oh. Wow. Deep cut.
If you were too young to know what we're talking about, consider yourself lucky.
So I can't wait until this happens. I would assume that all of the stuff, like John Cho was injured. John Cho's playing Spike. I'm assuming all of that's done, and wherever they stand with filming after COVID and so on, at least they're going far enough along to actually make this kind of announcement. So
I just want to see. I just want to see costumes already.
yeah, yep, that would be cool. But you got to realize those are going to be big, huge reveals. You know, they're going to wait for a time when that's going to be a big, you know, an opportunity to make a big splash.
I just want to see John Cho with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
I think he's going to be super cool. I mean, that's, you know.
Yes.
I just want to see him portray it like he did when he was the emo version from Harold and Kumar 2.
Nice.
They do a flashback when he was in college. Oh, my God. Anyway, moving on. So that is, I was trying to figure out, I've got taken so many pictures of characters from Last of Us. And then I went, oh, yeah, Duskimp as one of the most disturbing clickers you've ever seen. So that's the picture I chose. The news is that HBO has given the go-ahead to a series for Last of Us. And we mentioned this, that it was in the works. All this is a statement that they are, in fact, committed to a series. We don't know how many episodes. We don't know when it's going to start. We don't know when it's going to air. It is still being produced or created by the original game creator, Neil Druckmann, one of the executive producers from Game of Thrones, Carolyn Strauss, luckily not the other two, and Craig Mazin, who created Chernobyl. So it's got potential. But that's pretty much it. Just, you know, HBO said, do it. And so, yay. It's
I definitely think that HBO is the perfect platform for it.
Yeah. I mean, there are plenty of streaming platforms now where you can get that level of dealing with some really dark stuff. But HBO, you know, certainly A, has the money, and B, has the, you know, has the rep for, you know, easily dealing with that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Got a good track record.
Yeah.
So.
Final season of Game of Thrones, you know, aside.
I don't. That's not really. I don't know if that's HBO's fault. We all know whose fault it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, HBO paid them. Waifu Pennywise, yes, that was a clicker. That was New York Comic Con 2017, I think. And wonderful, I think Duskimp on Instagram is the cosplayer. And somehow every year convinces the people at the guards at New York Comic Con to let her come in with homemade brownies, which she gives out to all of her friends, and it's wonderful. But anyway, and just obviously a good cosplayer. Our next topic, and this, and the fanboys and girls, and literally everything in between went wild. John Barrowman is coming back as Captain Jack Harkness for the upcoming holiday special Doctor Who. Hoorah. Doctor Hoorah.
Absolutely, positively.
If you were here at the beginning of the show and you were around to hear like random TARDIS noises, that was actually coming from my phone because I forgot that I was just looking back right before we started at this article, and then I guess it just decided to start playing the trailer. So there we go. But Major Hoovian here also watched, you know, every single episode of Torchwood. Loved how we got to see a lot more Captain Jack there. He's actually the reason I went to Torchwood. I was like, give me more of this character, and then I stuck around for it all. But you know, I think correct me if I'm wrong, is generally universally beloved. He's also a character who's well known for sort of explaining pansexuality way before David Schitt from Schitt's Creek, who said, you know, it's the wine, not the bottle. And I forget exactly what Captain Jack said, but it was like that as he was talking about being attracted to people and aliens and maybe gaseous, just cerebral life forms of just being like, and it was one of the best, although again, I wish I could remember it, explanations of pansexuality, where again, it's not about the flesh, it's not about the meat suit, it's about the person inside, the being inside.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I just always loved about Jack's character was just that fact that, like, the doctor just, I forget what episode it was, but like they're like trying to get away, and then Jack's just like, "Ooh," Doc's like, "Nope, nope, nope, nope."
Yeah, he's kind of a horn dog.
Yep.
He's a pansexual and is committed to it.
Anything with two legs it walks.
Yep.
Like, yep. Oh, can it breathe? Can it consent?
Yes.
Hello.
That's
Yeah,
pretty much
I
it.
think that's it right there. I think Ashley nailed it. Can it consent? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even sure the breathing part is necessary for Jack.
I know.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. So, but Barrowman is so good at it. He's such a over the top, wonderfully energetic, positive actor all the time. You know, I don't think I've ever been to any panel at any con he's ever been at, but just watching him walk to a panel, and then watching the people come out of that panel and be on cloud nine. Is just so much fun.
I was lucky enough to meet him years ago at Boston Comic Con, and he really is one of the most genuine, sweet human beings.
Yep.
In the craft of acting.
Yep.
I will throw out, there was like a moment where I think he made some sort of like backhanded comment that was taken as transphobic, that I just need to state it because it's one of those things like, yep, people are gonna like call me out if I don't. It still does not pull me away. I think he may have just been saying something and didn't realize what he was saying, but I have to look into that again. But again, I'm still very excited about this. I'm still very excited to see Captain Jack back. I was really excited that he was back on an episode this past season of Doctor Who, and so I'm really excited that they're gonna keep fleshing it out, because I also really enjoy John Barrowman's work and I really enjoy the character. So
yep. I have to say, so one of the reasons we're sort of rushing through things, G4 TV is having a reunion special. It starts at 9:00, and I have to see it. As the entire channel was winding down, and after Kevin Pereira left Attack of the Show, John Barrowman came in and guest hosted probably 4 episodes, including a Thanksgiving episode where he brought in his Scottish parents and had them sitting at a table eating Thanksgiving dinner while he was doing the show. And his dad has an absolutely bluer sense of humor than he does. They had to bleep so much of what his dad was saying. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen on recorded live TV. And I don't know if it's on YouTube or if there's any place to find that, but if there is, God, try to dig that thing up, folks. It's hilarious. But anyway, did anybody see in here when this airs?
It's going to be the Christmas special.
Right.
So,
but does that always air Christmas Day? I think
it does. It does air on Christmas Day. And also the only thing I wanted to add is that it also involves Daleks, which some people love them, some people hate them, some people are indifferent. But just if you're really excited about Captain Jack, but you're really like, Daleks, I don't know, drink that eggnog before you watch, or get ready to fast forward. I don't know, or just, deal with it. Daleks aren't going anywhere.
So excited.
They're never going away.
Yep. Revolution of the Daleks, the episode apparently is called. So
Exterminate.
So Christmas, you got Wonder Woman 84 on HBO Max, and you've got Doctor Who on BBC America.
So many choices.
So many choices. All right, now this is an interesting. So there was a whole bunch of news that on one of the websites I usually go to find this stuff, which is kind of a sort of a general Hollywood movie sort of or entertainment sort of website. Boy, did they bury the lead. That is Robert Englund, and Robert Englund is one of the many new cast members that have been announced for season 4 of Stranger Things. He will be a recurring character in this season, playing, and I'm sure the best description, Victor Creel, a disturbed and intimidating man who was imprisoned in a psychiatric hospital for a gruesome murder in the 1950s. Boy, is that perfect for him. But the article that I said, it had all kinds of all of the other cast members, and then sort of like in the middle of it, it's like Robert Englund will be playing, and I'm like, okay, bury the lead there, folks. I mean, these other actors I'm sure are fine, but wow.
I thought that was the headline.
In the one that you then posted, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the one from Deadline that I initially posted.
Oh.
So I didn't say anything because the one you posted actually made more sense and was more interesting. But But the one from Deadline was just like, season 4 new cast members, and it lists like, Jamie Campbell Bower and Eduardo Franco, who've been in, Mortal Instruments for the first one, Booksmart for the second one, and so on. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, and Robert Englund.
They always have to get at least one icon from that era in the season.
Yep. Yeah, let's hope he does as well as Sean Astin. Sean Astin was fantastic in season 2.
So mad. It was good. I'm so mad at what happened to Sean Astin in that season.
Well, yeah, that's yes. Yeah. Spoilers for season 2, which is now 4 years
Ashley's
ago.
Mad.
Yeah.
There's some gruesome death of one of your favorite hobbitses.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it's worth a watch. I don't know. I mean, I had to the first time I had to kind of watch it like this, and then after that I was kind of knew what was coming.
Now earlier, Ashley, when we were before the show, Ashley pointed out something that all of us missed. You want to say what is one potential concern about this announcement?
Yeah, the big thing is all 8 people that are mentioned in this article and all around are all just men. And while I'm very excited about Robert Englund, I love watching Robert Englund in things. I will watch him do basically anything. It is a little disconcerting, particularly to me, and I'm kind of the wet blanket on this chat today. But for me, it's just my biggest issue with Stranger Things, particularly from last season, was I didn't like how they handled the female characters, and I thought that a lot of them were not very well written or very well conceived. So for me, seeing an announcement of all new cast members, the big cast members that we're going to meet, I'm sure there are going to be women in this season too, but it's just oh, this does not say to me it's trying to bring me back in. Yep. So that's me.
Yeah. I mean, one thought I just had was I was almost about to say that behavior characters like Hopper from last season was a product of their time, but it's just no, that's not a good excuse, because if we were going to play the product of his time card, Caleb's the actor his character would have been treated a lot more harshly, I think.
Yep.
If we were going for the product of his time card, but it's just you're playing on that one outdated trope.
I think the other problem with product of its time, particularly for a piece of media that's out now, is always okay, if you're trying to pay homage, we are looking at it from a 2020 lens. We're looking at it, particularly for that time, from a 2019 lens. So we have to figure out why we are still perpetuating, if it is a problematic thing, why we're still perpetuating a problematic thing. Now, again, there's a lot of things, and we had a really good discussion before we got on here as well, about how many of us kind of disagreed on how a lot of these characters are handled as well. And for me, I think a lot of it was the Hopper all of a sudden turning into the weird macho shoot first and ask for directions later character from the 80s, which just did not make any sense from who his character was and what he had learned from these 2 seasons.
Yep.
So for me, it's just
shotgun rocking chair.
Yeah.
I think they leaned too hard into his idolization of Magnum PI. I mean, Lord knows that I have the exact, the licensed or whatever replica of that Hawaiian shirt. All
Hopper
that
stand.
stuff. Yeah, but I mean, as a super fan, I'm not going to say that the season was perfect in any means. Ashley and I have some different opinions on how the development of Elle's character went. Just in I don't know, neither of us is wrong. It's just, again, 2 different perspectives. It's a great chat, which maybe we'll get into. Would love to when it comes back around and we can dive into that further. I was so excited about Robert Englund and just, again, being okay, this is great. This is, again, hopefully perfectly cast, that I missed that the rest of the new cast was, white dudes or whitish. Time and place, if there's some stuff happening in Russia, sure, we get that. But I mean, they've already shown that Hawkins is mildly diverse. There's no reason for it to be, not more. I mean, come on, add some more diversity. It gets tiresome just to keep watching white dudes. And I completely agree with Ashley on that. There's a lot of new shows I don't start because I'm just it's more dudes.
Yep. Yeah, so Stranger Things 4, we coming up early this coming season, this year? Or, no, they usually premieres right around October because of the whole Halloween thing. Um,
It's
so
either July or October. Those have been
Yeah,
that's
well,
right. They did
yeah.
July for
Yeah.
July 4th, and then they did October Halloween. So God forbid that it's going to be Christmas this coming one. Maybe it is. In which case we have to wait more than a year. But anyway, yeah, that's the Stranger Things 4 news. And our last topic tonight, and waifu, if you're still with us, here's the explanation. Deadpool 3 was announced that they picked a writing team. So one, they've announced it's definitely going to happen. They've said it will before, but now they've got a writing team. There's no question. And that writing team are Wendy Molyneux and Lizzie Molyneux-Leglin, who are the writers and executive producers of Bob's Burgers. So if you know Bob's Burgers and you know Tina's fascination with the butts, then this is just going to be, that one explains the photo. And two, this is just going to be the all but Deadpool.
Yes.
And I have absolutely no problem with that. I think their humor is spot on. I hard pressed to think of a better choice.
Yeah. No, hard agree. Honestly, like the Bob's Burgers team in general is always just top notch. They have a very specific type of humor. It's a thing that they keep reinventing not even just every season, but every episode. They keep reinventing and establishing their style of humor. And so to have them jump into Deadpool, I'm so here for it. I am so here for it. There are going to be so many puns, and I think that's what I'm so excited about. Are all the secret puns that we're going to be playing during Deadpool 3? Like.
I think it's fantastic. I think the Molyneux sisters, I was so happy when they kind of, you see them in the beginning with Bob's Burgers and, as their role grows and until they become lead writers or whatever they are, or multifaceted in the development of that show, it really finds its brand. And, there's that great balance of a little bit of self-referential. I don't know, when you reference yourself, looking back at earlier episodes and seasons, along with it's really good. I can't think of words tonight. Irreverent.
Yes.
And then also, deep cuts and humor. I mean, it's funny and it's silly, but it's also well thought.
I'm not the biggest Bob's Burgers fan, but I will say that I find a lot of the humor in that show smart. As a rule, I generally don't watch animation that doesn't take advantage of the medium. But anyway,
yeah, that is true. It really doesn't, and even not in the way that earlier The Simpsons used to. The Simpsons used to do a lot of stuff, particularly with like Homer's, crazy chili drug trips and things like that, where they really take advantage of the medium, and that rarely happens in that way on Bob's Burgers. It's an animated, very funny family sitcom. But Waifu Pennywise, I remember going back to Robert Englund. I heard from my mom that Robert Englund accidentally, jokingly scared a woman. I have no doubt whatsoever. And I remember from the 5th grade to the 2nd grade, I remember some kids sneaking into the movie theaters to watch Deadpool when the first one came out. And that brings up what I think is, in fact, is going to be our last point. If, in fact, as has been rumored because of the Deadpool Christmas special re-release of Deadpool 2, that Disney is going to try to make this a PG-13 movie, this would be the team to do it.
Yeah.
They get away with some really funny, smart, very adult stuff that is not foul in any way in Bob's Burgers. And I would hate to not have an R-rated Deadpool, but if they're gonna make that call,
push it to the limit.
Well, one, push it to the limit, and this is the team to push it to the limit. So we might be seeing this announcement as sort of laying the groundwork for, oh, by the way, folks, the R-rated Deadpool is done.
Yeah, I think R-rated superhero movies in general can work, and Deadpool really was the one that showed us, yes, it can work, it can be profitable, it can
standard.
Like there have been other R-rated superhero movies that have worked to some capacity, but Deadpool was the one that sort of showed, yes, you can. I am curious how a PG-13 Deadpool movie will work, but at the same time, I can see it working, and especially like I did not see Once Upon a Deadpool. I am not against Once Upon a Deadpool, but at the same time, I already saw that movie, so like, I'm curious, but optimistically curious.
Yep.
So
So
we
folks,
all-
it's 9:00, which means I'm going to have to wrap us up really super quickly. Let's work around from Ashley. Say goodnight and a quick plug.
Great. Good night. Scowlfight.com, twitch.tv/scowlfight. You'll get to see a mime fight. Prime time, mime time, baby.
Yes. Byron.
Byron D0, Byron McNeil. Go to www.codenameblackbird.thecomicseries.com.
Awesome, awesome. And Go.
Gogo Incognito, Instagram, holiday shoots, fun stuff, lots of glamour, and that is at Gogo_Incognito.
And one quick answer before I. One, Aneki's YouTube channel, Glitter Time. Hello. The show is ending. So sorry you missed it. Waifu Pennywise, would it be the same character and costume? Yes, Ryan Reynolds is still going to be Deadpool. It's 100% going to be, Deadpool 3. No question. And yes, Aneki, sorry, but yeah, bye. So there's only a question of whether or not it's going to be R-rated or PG-13. And there will be no full fat spoiler chat this week on Thursday because, of course, Thursday is Thanksgiving. And many people have plans. So